Les trois cheveux d'or.
The three golden hairs. The three golden hairs.
Il était une fois un roi.
Once there was a king. Once there was a king.
Il adorait chasser.
He loved to hunt. He loved to hunt.
Il poursuivit un cerf profondément dans la forêt.
He chased a deer deep into the forest. He chased a deer deep into the forest.
Un jour,
One day,
il se perdit dans les bois.
he got lost in the woods. He got lost in the woods.
Quand la nuit tomba,
When night came,
il découvrit une petite maison dans les bois.
he discovered a small house in the woods. He discovered a small house in the woods.
Un charbonnier y vivait.
A charcoal burner lived there. A charcoal burner lived there.
Travaillant avec le feu.
Working with fire.
Le roi demanda de l'aide à l'homme.
The king asked the man for help. The king asked the man for help.
Il avait besoin d'assistance pour retrouver son chemin.
He needed assistance to find his way home. He needed assistance to find his way home.
Je veux vous aider.
I want to help you. I want to help you.
Dit l'homme.
The man said,
Ma femme est sur le point d'accoucher.
My wife is about to have a baby. My wife is about to have a baby.
Je ne peux pas la quitter maintenant.
I can't leave her now. I can't leave her now.
Il est trop tard pour que vous partiez seul.
It's too late for you to go alone. It's too late for you to go alone.
Restez ici cette nuit, s'il vous plaît.
Please stay here tonight. Please stay here tonight.
Vous pouvez dormir en haut.
You can sleep upstairs. You can sleep upstairs.
Et je vous ramènerai chez vous demain.
And I'll take you home tomorrow. And I'll take you home tomorrow.
Le roi accepta.
The king agreed.
Il monta à l'étage.
He went upstairs.
Il se coucha sur du foin.
He lay down on some hay. He lay down on some hay.
Peu après,
Soon after,
un petit garçon naquit du charbonnier.
a baby boy was born to the charcoal burner. A baby boy was born to the charcoal burner.
À minuit,
At midnight,
le roi vit une étrange lumière en bas.
the king saw a strange light downstairs. The king saw a strange light downstairs.
Il regarda par une fissure dans le plancher.
He looked through a crack in the floor. He looked through a crack in the floor.
Il vit le charbonnier endormi sur le sol.
He saw the charcoal burner asleep on the ground. He saw the charcoal burner asleep on the ground.
Sa femme était allongée immobile à côté de lui tranquillement.
His wife was lying still beside him quietly. His wife was lying still beside him quietly.
Trois vieilles femmes vêtues de blanc se tenaient à proximité.
Three old women dressed in white stood nearby. Three old women dressed in white stood nearby.
Elles veillaient sur le bébé paisiblement.
They were watching over the baby peacefully. They were watching over the baby peacefully.
Chacune tenait une bougie allumée.
Each one held a lit candle. Each one held a lit candle.
La première vieille femme dit.
The first old woman said. The first old woman said.
Ce garçon affrontera de grands dangers.
This boy will face great dangers. This boy will face great dangers.
La deuxième dit.
The second said.
Il les survivra tous.
He will survive them all. He will survive them all.
Il vivra une longue vie.
He will live a long life. He will live a long life.
La troisième dit.
The third one said. The third one said.
Il épousera la fille du roi née cette nuit.
He will marry the baby daughter born tonight. He will marry the baby daughter born tonight.
C'est la fille du roi en haut.
She is the king's daughter upstairs. She is the king's daughter upstairs.
Les trois vieilles femmes soufflèrent leurs bougies.
The three old women blew out their candles. The three old women blew out their candles.
C'étaient les parcs.
They were the fates. They were the fates.
Des êtres magiques dotés de pouvoir.
Magical beings with power. Magical beings with power.
Elles décident de l'avenir des gens et contrôlent leur destin.
They decide people's futures and control their destiny. They decide people's futures and control their destiny.
Le roi fut choqué et en colère.
The king was shocked and angry. The king was shocked and angry.
Il resta éveillé toute la nuit.
He stayed awake all night. He stayed awake all night.
Je cherche une solution.
I am trying to find a solution. I am trying to find a solution.
Je veux empêcher que cela n'arrive.
I want to stop this from happening. I want to stop this from happening.
Au matin,
In the morning,
le bébé se mit à pleurer bruyamment.
the baby began to cry loudly. The baby began to cry loudly.
Le charbonnier se réveilla soudainement.
The charcoal burner woke up suddenly. The charcoal burner woke up suddenly.
Il découvrit quelque chose de choquant.
He discovered something shocking. He discovered something shocking.
Sa femme était morte pendant la nuit.
His wife had died overnight. His wife had died overnight.
Oh,
Oh,
mon pauvre bébé,
my poor baby,
pleura-t-il.
he cried.
Que vais-je faire de toi maintenant?
What will I do with you now? What will I do with you now?
Donnez-moi le bébé.
Give me the baby. Give me the baby.
Dit le roi.
The king said.
Je m'occuperai de lui.
I'll take care of him. I'll take care of him.
Je vous donnerai assez d'argent pour vivre.
I will provide you enough money to live. I will provide you enough money to live.
Vous aurez un soutien financier à vie.
You will have financial support for your lifetime. You will have financial support for your lifetime.
Le charbonnier fut heureux de cette offre.
The charcoal burner was happy with this offer. The charcoal burner was happy with this offer.
Le roi partit,
The king left,
promettant d'envoyer quelqu'un chercher le bébé.
promising to send someone to get the baby. Promising to send someone to get the baby.
Quelques jours plus tard,
A few days later. A few days later.
le roi arriva chez lui.
The king arrived home. The king arrived home.
Tout le monde lui annonça la bonne nouvelle.
Everyone told him the good news. Everyone told him the good news.
Une belle petite fille lui était née.
A beautiful baby daughter was born to him. A beautiful baby daughter was born to him.
Il demanda quand elle était née.
He asked when she was born. He asked when she was born.
C'était la même nuit.
It was the same night. It was the same night.
Il avait vu les parcs.
He saw the fates. He saw the fates.
Au lieu d'être heureux,
Instead of being happy. Instead of being happy.
le roi fronça les sourcils.
The king frowned.
Il appela un de ses serviteurs et dit,
He called one of his servants and said. He called one of his servants and said.
Allez dans la forêt.
Go into the forest. Go into the forest.
Trouvez la maison du charbonnier.
Find the charcoal burner's house. Find the charcoal burner's house.
Donnez-lui cet argent et prenez le bébé.
Give him this money and take the baby. Give him this money and take the baby.
Sur le chemin du retour.
On your way back. On your way back.
Noyer le bébé dans la rivière.
Drown the baby in the river. Drown the baby in the river.
Faites comme je dis.
Do as I say. Do as I say.
Ou je vous ferai noyer.
Or I'll have you drowned. Or I'll have you drowned.
Le serviteur partit.
The servant went.
Prit le bébé.
Got the baby.
Et le mit dans un panier.
And put it in a basket. And put it in a basket.
Quand il traversa une large rivière.
When he crossed the wide river. When he crossed the wide river.
Il jeta le panier dans l'eau.
He threw the basket into the water. He threw the basket into the water.
Adieu.
Goodbye.
Futur gendre indésirable.
Unwanted son-in-law.
Dit le roi quand il apprit ce qui s'était passé.
The king said when he heard what happened. The king said when he heard what happened.
Il pensa que le bébé s'était noyé.
He thought the baby had drowned. He thought the baby had drowned.
Mais ce n'était pas le cas.
But it hadn't.
Le panier flotta doucement sur l'eau.
The basket floated gently on the water. The basket floated gently on the water.
Il avançait comme un petit bateau sur les vagues.
It moved like a small boat on waves. It moved like a small boat on waves.
Et le bébé dormait paisiblement.
And the baby slept peacefully. And the baby slept peacefully.
Il dériva en aval devant la maison d'un pêcheur.
It floated downstream past a fisherman's house. It floated downstream past a fisherman's house.
Le pêcheur le vit.
The fisherman saw it. The fisherman saw it.
Monta dans son bateau.
Got in his boat. Got in his boat.
Et partit à sa poursuite.
And went after it. And went after it.
Quand il a vu le bébé à l'intérieur.
When he saw the baby inside. When he saw the baby inside.
Il était très heureux.
He was very happy. He was very happy.
Il l'a emmené à sa femme et a dit.
He took it to his wife and said. He took it to his wife and said.
Tu as toujours voulu un fils.
You've always wanted a son. You've always wanted a son.
Maintenant, nous en avons un.
Now we have one. Now we have one.
La rivière nous l'a donné.
The river has given him to us. The river has given him to us.
La femme du pêcheur était ravie.
The fisherman's wife was delighted. The fisherman's wife was delighted.
Ils ont élevé le bébé comme le leur.
They raised the baby as their own. They raised the baby as their own.
Ils l'ont nommé Plavacek.
They named him Plavacek. They named him Plavacek.
Un garçon flottait sur l'eau.
A boy floated on the water. A boy floated on the water.
Il était dans l'eau.
He was in the water. He was in the water.
Flottant.
Floating.
Le temps a passé.
Time passed.
Plavacek est passé de bébé à garçon.
Plavacek grew from a baby to a boy. Plavacek grew from a baby to a boy.
Il est devenu un beau jeune homme avec le temps.
He became a handsome young man over time. He became a handsome young man over time.
Il était le plus beau de la région.
He was the most handsome in the area. He was the most handsome in the area.
Un jour,
One day,
le roi est passé seul à cheval.
the king rode by alone. The king rode by alone.
Il avait chaud et soif.
He was hot and thirsty. He was hot and thirsty.
Il a appelé le pêcheur.
He called to the fisherman. He called to the fisherman.
Apportez-moi de l'eau, s'il vous plaît.
Please bring me some water. Please bring me some water.
A-t-il demandé.
He requested.
Plavacek la lui a apporté.
Plavacek brought it to him. Plavacek brought it to him.
Le roi a fixé le jeune homme.
The king stared at the young man. The king stared at the young man.
Il était beau et surpris.
He was handsome and surprised. He was handsome and surprised.
Vous avez un beau garçon.
You have a fine boy. You have a fine boy.
A-t-il dit au pêcheur.
He said to the fisherman. He said to the fisherman.
Est-ce votre fils?
Is he your son? Is he your son?
Il l'est et ne l'est pas.
He is and he isn't. He is and he isn't.
A répondu le pêcheur.
The fisherman answered.
Il y a 20 ans.
20 years ago.
Un bébé flottait dans un panier.
A baby floated in a basket. A baby floated in a basket.
Il dérivait doucement le long de la rivière.
It drifted down the river gently. It drifted down the river gently.
Nous l'avons recueilli.
We took him in. We took him in.
Et il a été le nôtre depuis.
And he's been ours ever since. And he's been ours ever since.
Le roi est devenu pâle et s'est senti étourdi.
The king turned pale and felt dizzy. The king turned pale and felt dizzy.
Il a su instantanément que Plavacek était le bébé.
He knew instantly that Plavacek was the baby. He knew instantly that Plavacek was the baby.
Il avait ordonné que le bébé soit noyé.
He had ordered the baby to be drowned. He had ordered the baby to be drowned.
Bientôt, il s'est remis et est descendu de son cheval.
Soon he recovered and got off his horse. Soon he recovered and got off his horse.
J'ai besoin de quelqu'un pour livrer une lettre.
I need someone to deliver a letter. I need someone to deliver a letter.
Veuillez l'apporter à mon palais.
Please take it to my palace. Please take it to my palace.
A-t-il dit.
He said.
Je n'ai personne avec moi.
I have no one with me. I have no one with me.
Ce jeune homme pourrait-il y aller?
Could this young man go? Could this young man go?
Bien sûr,
Of course.
a dit le pêcheur.
The fisherman said.
Plavacek ira.
Plavacek will go.
Le roi s'est assis.
The king sat down. The king sat down.
Il a écrit une lettre à la reine.
He wrote a letter to the queen. He wrote a letter to the queen.
Voici ce qu'elle disait.
This is what it said. This is what it said.
Éliminez le jeune homme qui livre cette lettre.
Eliminate the young man who delivers this letter. Eliminate the young man who delivers this letter.
Faites-le rapidement.
Do it quickly.
Sans délai.
Without delay.
C'est un ennemi dangereux.
He is a dangerous enemy. He is a dangerous enemy.
Faites-le tuer avant mon retour à la maison.
Have him killed before I return home. Have him killed before I return home.
Il a plié la lettre et l'a scellée.
He folded the letter and sealed it. He folded the letter and sealed it.
Plavacek a pris la lettre et est parti immédiatement.
Plavacek took the letter and left immediately. Plavacek took the letter and left immediately.
Il devait traverser une forêt profonde.
He had to go through a deep forest. He had to go through a deep forest.
Il s'est perdu dans les buissons épais.
He got lost in the thick bushes. He got lost in the thick bushes.
Il s'est aussi perdu parmi les arbres.
He also got lost among the trees. He also got lost among the trees.
Quand il a commencé à faire sombre.
When it started to get dark. When it started to get dark.
Il a rencontré une vieille femme.
He met an old woman. He met an old woman.
Où vas-tu?
Where are you going? Where are you going?
Plavacek?
Plavacek?
A-t-elle demandé.
She asked.
J'apporte cette lettre au palais du roi.
I'm taking this letter to the king's palace. I'm taking this letter to the king's palace.
Mais je suis perdu.
But I'm lost.
Pouvez-vous me montrer le bon chemin?
Can you show me the right road? Can you show me the right road?
Vous ne pouvez pas y arriver aujourd'hui.
You can't get there today. You can't get there today.
A dit la vieille femme.
The old woman said. The old woman said.
Il fait nuit maintenant.
It's dark now.
Passez la nuit chez moi.
Spend the night with me. Spend the night with me.
Je suis votre marraine.
I'm your godmother.
Donc vous ne serez pas chez un étranger.
So you won't be staying with a stranger. So you won't be staying with a stranger.
Plavacek a accepté.
Plavacek agreed.
Soudain,
Suddenly,
il a vu une jolie petite maison.
he saw a pretty little house. He saw a pretty little house.
Elle est apparue juste devant lui.
It appeared right in front of him. It appeared right in front of him.
Pendant la nuit, pendant que Plavacek dormait.
During the night while Plavacek slept. During the night while Plavacek slept.
La vieille femme a pris la lettre.
The old woman took the letter. The old woman took the letter.
Elle l'a prise dans sa poche.
She took it from his pocket. She took it from his pocket.
Elle y a mis une autre lettre qui disait.
She put in a different letter that said. She put in a different letter that said.
Mariez le jeune homme qui apporte cette lettre.
Marry the young man who brings this letter. Marry the young man who brings this letter.
Il est destiné à notre fille.
He is meant for our daughter. He is meant for our daughter.
Faites-le rapidement.
Do it quickly.
Il est destiné à être mon gendre.
He is meant to be my son-in-law. He is meant to be my son-in-law.
Faites le mariage avant mon retour à la maison.
Have the wedding before I return home. Have the wedding before I return home.
Le lendemain.
The next day.
Plavacek a livré la lettre.
Plavacek delivered the letter. Plavacek delivered the letter.
Dès que la reine l'a lu.
As soon as the queen read it. As soon as the queen read it.
Elle a ordonné un mariage immédiat.
She ordered a wedding immediately. She ordered a wedding immediately.
Elle aimait beaucoup le beau jeune homme.
She liked the handsome young man very much. She liked the handsome young man very much.
Sa fille l'aimait beaucoup.
Her daughter liked him a lot. Her daughter liked him a lot.
Aussi.
Too.
Plavacek est tombé amoureux de la princesse rapidement.
Plavacek fell in love with the princess quickly. Plavacek fell in love with the princess quickly.
Il était heureux de l'épouser peu après.
He was happy to marry her soon after. He was happy to marry her soon after.
Quelques jours après le mariage.
A few days after the wedding. A few days after the wedding.
Le roi est rentré à la maison.
The king came home. The king came home.
Quand il a entendu ce qui s'était passé.
When he heard what had happened. When he heard what had happened.
Il est devenu très en colère contre la reine.
He became very angry at the queen. He became very angry at the queen.
Tu m'as dit de l'épouser.
You told me to marry him. You told me to marry him.
Tu as dit que c'était le mieux pour notre fille.
You said it was best for our daughter. You said it was best for our daughter.
Dit la reine.
The queen said.
Voici votre lettre.
Here is your letter. Here is your letter.
Le roi regarda attentivement la lettre.
The king looked at the letter carefully. The king looked at the letter carefully.
L'écriture.
The handwriting.
Le sceau.
The seal.
Le papier, tout était à lui.
The paper, everything was his. The paper, everything was his.
Il appela Plavacek et lui posa des questions.
He called Plavacek and asked him questions. He called Plavacek and asked him questions.
Plavacek lui raconta comment il s'était perdu dans la forêt et avait passé la nuit avec sa marraine.
Plavacek told him how he got lost in the forest and spent the night with his godmother. Plavacek told him how he got lost in the forest and spent the night with his godmother.
À quoi ressemble votre marraine?
What does your godmother look like? What does your godmother look like?
Demanda le roi.
The king asked.
D'après la description de Plavacek.
From Plavacek's description.
Le roi l'a reconnue comme la vieille femme.
The king recognized her as the old woman. The king recognized her as the old woman.
Elle avait promis la princesse à un roturier.
She had promised the princess to a commoner. She had promised the princess to a commoner.
Cette promesse avait été faite il y a 20 ans.
This promise was made 20 years ago. This promise was made 20 years ago.
Il regarda attentivement Plavachet et dit enfin.
He looked at Plavacek carefully and finally said. He looked at Plavacek carefully and finally said.
Ce qui est fait est fait.
What's done is done. What's done is done.
Mais jeune homme,
But young man,
vous ne pouvez pas être mon gendre gratuitement.
you can't be my son-in-law for free. You can't be my son-in-law for free.
Si vous voulez ma fille,
If you want my daughter. If you want my daughter.
vous devez m'apporter 3 cheveux d'or.
You must bring me 3 golden hairs. You must bring me 3 golden hairs.
Les cheveux sont du vieux grand-père omniscient.
The hairs are from old grandfather know-it-all. The hairs are from old grandfather know-it-all.
Il pensa que ce serait impossible.
He thought this would be impossible. He thought this would be impossible.
Ce serait une excellente méthode.
It would be a great method. It would be a great method.
Cela peut éliminer Plavachet.
It can eliminate Plavacek. It can eliminate Plavacek.
Plavachet fit ses adieux à sa fiancée et partit.
Plavacek said goodbye to his bride and left. Plavacek said goodbye to his bride and left.
Il ne savait pas quel chemin prendre.
He didn't know which way to go. He didn't know which way to go.
Mais sa marraine était une parque.
But his godmother was a fate. But his godmother was a fate.
Donc il trouverait probablement le bon chemin.
So he would probably find the right road. So he would probably find the right road.
Il voyagea longtemps.
He traveled for a long time. He traveled for a long time.
Par monts et par vaux.
Over hills and across rivers. Over hills and across rivers.
Enfin,
Finally,
il arriva à une mer Noire.
he came to a black sea. He came to a black sea.
Il vit un bateau.
He saw a boat. He saw a boat.
Un vieux passeur était là.
An old ferryman was there. An old ferryman was there.
Que Dieu vous bénisse,
God bless you.
dit Plavachet.
Plavacek said.
Que Dieu vous bénisse aussi.
May God bless you too. May God bless you too.
Jeune voyageur.
Young traveler.
Où allez-vous?
Where are you going? Where are you going?
Je vais rendre visite à grand-père omniscient.
I'm going to visit Grandfather Know-it-all. I'm going to visit Grandfather Know-it-all.
Je veux obtenir 3 cheveux d'or.
I want to get 3 golden hairs. I want to get 3 golden hairs.
Oh!
Oh,
J'attendais quelqu'un comme vous.
I've been waiting for someone like you. I've been waiting for someone like you.
Je fais traverser cette mer aux gens.
I have been taking people across this sea. I have been taking people across this sea.
Je fais cela depuis 20 ans maintenant.
I've done this for 20 years now. I've done this for 20 years now.
Et personne n'est venu me remplacer.
And nobody has come to replace me. And nobody has come to replace me.
Promettez de demander à grand-père omniscient.
Promise to ask Grandfather Know-it-all. Promise to ask Grandfather Know-it-all.
S'il vous plaît.
Please.
Quand mon travail prendra-t-il fin?
When will my work end? When will my work end?
Grand-père?
Grandfather?
Je vous ferai traverser.
I'll take you across. I'll take you across.
Plavachet promis.
Plavacek promised.
Et le passeur le fit traverser.
And the boatman took him across. And the boatman took him across.
Plavachet continua son voyage sans s'arrêter.
Plavacek continued his journey without stopping. Plavacek continued his journey without stopping.
Finalement.
Eventually.
Il arriva dans une grande ville.
He arrived at a big. He arrived at a big.
En ruine.
Crumbling city.
Il rencontra un vieil homme.
He met an old man. He met an old man.
L'homme pouvait à peine marcher.
The man could barely walk. The man could barely walk.
Même avec sa canne.
Even with his walking stick. Even with his walking stick.
Que Dieu vous bénisse.
God bless you.
Dit Plavachet.
Plavacek said.
Que Dieu vous bénisse aussi.
May God bless you too. May God bless you too.
Où allez-vous?
Where are you going? Where are you going?
Je rends visite au vieux grand-père omniscient aujourd'hui.
I'm visiting old Grandfather Know-it-all today. I'm visiting old Grandfather Know-it-all today.
Je dois obtenir 3 cheveux d'or.
I need to get 3 golden hairs. I need to get 3 golden hairs.
Nous attendions quelqu'un comme vous.
We've been waiting for someone like you. We've been waiting for someone like you.
Je dois vous emmener chez le roi.
I must take you to the king. I must take you to the king.
Le roi dit.
The king said.
Alors vous allez chez grand-père omniscient.
So you're going to grandfather know-it-all. So you're going to grandfather know-it-all.
Nous avons un pommier ici.
We have an apple tree here. We have an apple tree here.
Il produisait des pommes spéciales.
It used to grow special apples. It used to grow special apples.
Si quelqu'un mangeait une de ces pommes,
If anyone ate one of those apples. If anyone ate one of those apples.
il redeviendrait jaune.
They would become young again. They would become young again.
Peu importe son âge.
No matter how old they were. No matter how old they were.
Mais depuis 20 ans.
But for 20 years. But for 20 years.
Notre arbre n'a pas produit de fruits.
Our tree hasn't grown any fruit. Our tree hasn't grown any fruit.
Si vous promettez de demander à grand-père omniscient,
If you promise to ask grandfather know-it-all. If you promise to ask grandfather know-it-all.
y a-t-il de l'aide disponible pour nous?
Is there any help for us available? Is there any help for us available?
Je vous récompenserai bien.
I'll reward you well. I'll reward you well.
Plavachet promis.
Plavacek promised.
Et le roi lui souhaita bonne chance.
And the king wished him well. And the king wished him well.
Plavachet continua son voyage vers une grande ville.
Plavacek continued his journey to a big city. Plavacek continued his journey to a big city.
La ville était à moitié en ruine à son arrivée.
The city was half ruined when he arrived. The city was half ruined when he arrived.
Près de la ville,
Near the city,
un homme enterrait son père.
a man was burying his father. A man was burying his father.
En versant de grosses larmes.
Crying big tears.
Que Dieu vous bénisse,
God bless you.
dit Plavachet.
Plavacek said.
Que Dieu vous bénisse aussi.
May God bless you too. May God bless you too.
Où allez-vous?
Where are you going? Where are you going?
Je vais rendre visite à grand-père omniscient.
I am going to visit grandfather know-it-all. I am going to visit grandfather know-it-all.
Je veux obtenir 3 cheveux d'or.
I want to get 3 golden hairs. I want to get 3 golden hairs.
Nous attendions quelqu'un comme vous.
We've been waiting for someone like you. We've been waiting for someone like you.
Je dois vous emmener chez notre roi.
I must take you to our king. I must take you to our king.
Le roi dit.
The king said.
Nous avons un puits ici.
We have a well here. We have a well here.
Il coulait autrefois avec l'eau de la vie.
It used to flow with life's water. It used to flow with life's water.
Si quelqu'un en buvait,
If anyone drank from it. If anyone drank from it.
il guérissait.
They would get well. They would get well.
Peu importe à quel point il était malade.
No matter how sick they were. No matter how sick they were.
Même s'il était déjà mort.
Even if they were already dead. Even if they were already dead.
Cette eau pouvait le ramener à la vie.
This water could bring them back to life. This water could bring them back to life.
Mais depuis 20 ans,
But for 20 years. But for 20 years.
le puits est à sec.
The well has been dry. The well has been dry.
Promets de demander de l'aide à grand-père C'est tout.
Promise to ask grandfather Know-it-all for help. Promise to ask grandfather Know-it-all for help.
Y a-t-il de l'aide disponible pour nous?
Is there help available for us? Is there help available for us?
Grand-père,
Grandfather?
je vous récompenserai bien.
I'll reward you well. I'll reward you well.
Plavacek promis.
Plavacek promised.
Et le roi lui souhaita bonne chance.
And the king wished him well. And the king wished him well.
Après cela,
After that,
Plavacek voyagea loin dans une forêt sombre.
Plavacek traveled far into a dark forest. Plavacek traveled far into a dark forest.
Au plus profond de la forêt,
Deep in the forest. Deep in the forest.
il trouva une large prairie verte.
He found a wide green meadow. He found a wide green meadow.
La prairie était pleine de belles fleurs.
The meadow was full of beautiful flowers. The meadow was full of beautiful flowers.
Au milieu se dressait un palais doré.
In the middle stood a golden palace. In the middle stood a golden palace.
Il brillait intensément.
It glowed brightly.
Comme un feu dans la nuit.
Like fire in the night. Like fire in the night.
C'était le palais de grand-père C'est tout.
This was the palace of grandfather Know-it-all. This was the palace of grandfather Know-it-all.
Plavacek entra dans la pièce.
Plavacek went inside the room. Plavacek went inside the room.
Il ne trouva qu'une vieille femme assise.
He found only an old woman sitting. He found only an old woman sitting.
La femme était assise dans un coin.
The woman was sitting in a corner. The woman was sitting in a corner.
En train de filer.
Spinning.
Bienvenue.
Welcome.
Plavacek,
Plavacek.
dit-elle.
She said.
Je suis heureuse de te revoir.
I'm happy to see you again. I'm happy to see you again.
Il regarda la vieille femme.
He looked at the old woman. He looked at the old woman.
Il réalisa que c'était sa marraine.
He realized it was his godmother. He realized it was his godmother.
Chez qui il était resté.
Who he stayed with. Who he stayed with.
Quand il portait la lettre.
When he was carrying the letter. When he was carrying the letter.
Qu'est-ce qui t'amène ici?
What brought you here? What brought you here?
Plavacek?
Plavacek?
Demanda-t-elle.
She asked.
Le roi.
The king.
Marraine.
Godmother.
Il dit que je ne peux pas être son gendre.
He says I can't be his son-in-law. He says I can't be his son-in-law.
Il ne veut pas que ce soit gratuit.
He doesn't want it to be for free. He doesn't want it to be for free.
Il m'a envoyé chercher 3 cheveux d'or.
He sent me to get 3 golden hairs. He sent me to get 3 golden hairs.
Ils étaient du vieux grand-père C'est tout.
They were from old grandfather Know-it-all. They were from old grandfather Know-it-all.
La vieille femme sourit.
The old woman smiled. The old woman smiled.
Sais-tu qui est grand-père C'est tout?
Do you know who grandfather Know-it-all is? Do you know who grandfather Know-it-all is?
C'est le soleil brillant.
He is the bright sun. He is the bright sun.
Il va partout et voit tout.
He goes everywhere and sees everything. He goes everywhere and sees everything.
Je suis sa mère.
I'm his mother.
Le matin, c'est un petit garçon.
In the morning he's a little boy. In the morning he's a little boy.
À midi, c'est un homme adulte.
At noon he's a grown man. At noon he's a grown man.
Et le soir, c'est un vieux grand-père.
And in the evening he's an old grandfather. And in the evening he's an old grandfather.
Je te procurerai 3 cheveux d'or.
I will get you 3 golden hairs. I will get you 3 golden hairs.
Ils sont de sa tête.
They're from his head. They're from his head.
Mais tu ne peux pas rester où tu es.
But you can't stay where you are. But you can't stay where you are.
Mon fils est gentil.
My son is kind. My son is kind.
Mais s'il rentre à la maison affamé,
But if he comes home hungry. But if he comes home hungry.
il pourrait vouloir te manger pour le souper.
He might want to eat you for supper. He might want to eat you for supper.
Il y a un tonneau vide là-bas.
There's an empty barrel over there. There's an empty barrel over there.
Je te couvrirai avec.
I'll cover you with it. I'll cover you with it.
Plavacek demanda de l'aide à sa marraine.
Plavacek asked his godmother for help. Plavacek asked his godmother for help.
Il avait besoin de réponses à 3 questions importantes.
He needed answers to 3 important questions. He needed answers to 3 important questions.
Je le ferai,
I will,
dit-elle.
she said.
Écoute attentivement ce qu'il dit.
Listen carefully to what he says. Listen carefully to what he says.
Soudain,
Suddenly,
il y eut un fort vent qui soufflait dehors.
there was a loud rushing wind outside. There was a loud rushing wind outside.
Le soleil,
The sun,
un vieux grand-père à la tête dorée.
an old grandfather with a golden head. An old grandfather with a golden head.
Vola par la fenêtre ouest.
Flew in through the western window. Flew in through the western window.
Il renifla l'air.
He sniffed the air. He sniffed the air.
Je sens un humain.
I smell a human. I smell a human.
As-tu quelqu'un ici?
Do you have someone here? Do you have someone here?
Mère,
Mother?
étoile du jour.
Star of the day. Star of the day.
Qui pourrais-je avoir ici?
Who could I have here? Who could I have here?
Tu ne les verras pas.
You won't see them. You won't see them.
Tu as volé toute la journée sur le monde.
You've been flying all day over the world. You've been flying all day over the world.
Ton nez est plein d'une forte odeur.
Your nose is full of a strong smell. Your nose is full of a strong smell.
Ça sent l'humain tout autour de toi.
It smells like humans all around you. It smells like humans all around you.
Tu le sens encore quand tu rentres à la maison.
You still smell it when you come home. You still smell it when you come home.
C'est pourquoi tu le remarques à la maison.
That's why you notice it at home. That's why you notice it at home.
Le vieil homme ne dit rien.
The old man said nothing. The old man said nothing.
Il s'assit pour manger.
He sat down to eat. He sat down to eat.
Après avoir mangé,
After eating,
il posa sa tête sur les genoux de la vieille femme et s'endormit.
he put his head in the old woman's lap and fell asleep. He put his head in the old woman's lap and fell asleep.
La vieille femme tira un cheveu d'or.
The old woman pulled out a golden hair. The old woman pulled out a golden hair.
Elle le jeta sur le sol.
She threw it down onto the floor. She threw it down onto the floor.
Cela fit un son comme une corde de violon.
It made a sound like a violin string. It made a sound like a violin string.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
What is it?
Mère?
Mother?
Rien.
Nothing.
Mon garçon.
My boy.
Je dormais et j'ai fait un rêve merveilleux.
I was asleep and had a wonderful dream. I was asleep and had a wonderful dream.
De quoi as-tu rêvé?
What did you dream about? What did you dream about?
J'ai rêvé d'une ville remplie de merveilles.
I dreamed about a city filled with wonders. I dreamed about a city filled with wonders.
Il y avait un puits qui offrait de l'eau vive.
There was a well that offered living water. There was a well that offered living water.
Si quelqu'un en buvait,
If anyone drank from it. If anyone drank from it.
il guérissait.
They would get well. They would get well.
Peu importe à quel point il était malade.
No matter how sick they were. No matter how sick they were.
Même s'il était mort.
Even if they were dead. Even if they were dead.
Cette eau pourrait les ramener à la vie.
This water could bring them back to life. This water could bring them back to life.
Pendant 20 ans, le puits a été à sec.
For 20 years the well has been dry. For 20 years the well has been dry.
Est-ce que quelque chose peut le faire couler à nouveau?
Can anything make it flow once more? Can anything make it flow once more?
Y a-t-il un moyen de rétablir son débit?
Is there a way to restore its flow? Is there a way to restore its flow?
Oui.
Yes.
Une grenouille est assise sur la source.
A frog is sitting on the spring. A frog is sitting on the spring.
La source alimente le puits en dessous.
The spring feeds the well below it. The spring feeds the well below it.
Tuez la grenouille et nettoyez le puits.
Kill the frog and clean out the well. Kill the frog and clean out the well.
Alors l'eau coulera à nouveau.
Then the water will flow again. Then the water will flow again.
Quand il se rendormit.
When he fell asleep again. When he fell asleep again.
La vieille femme arracha un autre cheveu d'or.
The old woman pulled out another golden hair. The old woman pulled out another golden hair.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
What is it?
Mère?
Mother?
Rien.
Nothing.
Mon garçon.
My boy.
Je me suis rendormie et j'ai fait un autre rêve.
I was asleep again and had another dream. I was asleep again and had another dream.
J'ai rêvé d'une ville avec un pommier qui portait des pommes de jouvence.
I dreamed of a city with an apple tree that grew apples of youth. I dreamed of a city with an apple tree that grew apples of youth.
Si quelqu'un en mangeait une.
If anyone ate one. If anyone ate one.
Il redeviendrait jaune.
They would become young again. They would become young again.
Peu importe son âge.
No matter how old they were. No matter how old they were.
Mais depuis 20 ans.
But for 20 years. But for 20 years.
L'arbre n'a pas porté de fruits.
The tree hasn't grown fruit. The tree hasn't grown fruit.
Peut-on faire quelque chose?
Can anything be done? Can anything be done?
Oui.
Yes.
Un serpent est dans les racines de l'arbre.
A snake is in the tree's roots. A snake is in the tree's roots.
Il puise la force de l'arbre.
It is taking strength from the tree. It is taking strength from the tree.
Tuez le serpent et replantez l'arbre.
Kill the snake and replant the tree. Kill the snake and replant the tree.
Alors il portera à nouveau des fruits.
Then it will grow fruit again. Then it will grow fruit again.
Il se rendormit.
He fell asleep again. He fell asleep again.
La vieille femme arracha un cheveu d'or.
The old woman pulled out a golden hair. The old woman pulled out a golden hair.
C'était un troisième cheveu d'or qu'elle tenait.
It was a third golden hair she held. It was a third golden hair she held.
Pourquoi ne me laissez-vous pas dormir?
Why won't you let me sleep? Why won't you let me sleep?
Mère,
Mother?
reste tranquille.
Lie still.
Mon garçon.
My boy.
Je ne voulais pas te réveiller.
I didn't mean to wake you. I didn't mean to wake you.
Je suis tombée dans un profond sommeil.
I fell into a deep sleep. I fell into a deep sleep.
Puis j'ai fait un autre rêve.
Then I had another dream. Then I had another dream.
J'ai rêvé d'un passeur.
I dreamed of a boatman. I dreamed of a boatman.
Il était sur la mer Noire.
He was on the Black Sea. He was on the Black Sea.
Depuis 20 ans, il fait traverser les gens.
For 20 years he's been taking people across. For 20 years he's been taking people across.
Et personne n'a proposé de le remplacer.
And no one has offered to replace him. And no one has offered to replace him.
Quand sera-t-il libre?
When will he be free? When will he be free?
Ce passeur est stupide.
That boatman is foolish. That boatman is foolish.
Pourquoi ne donne-t-il pas la rame à quelqu'un?
Why doesn't he give the oar to someone? Why doesn't he give the oar to someone?
Alors,
Then,
il pourrait sauter rapidement sur la rive.
he can jump to shore quickly. He can jump to shore quickly.
L'autre personne deviendrait le passeur.
The other person would become the ferryman. The other person would become the ferryman.
Il devrait être le passeur.
They would have to be the ferryman. They would have to be the ferryman.
Mais maintenant, laissez-moi dormir.
But now let me sleep. But now let me sleep.
Je dois me réveiller tôt demain.
I need to wake up early tomorrow. I need to wake up early tomorrow.
La fille du roi pleure son mari chaque nuit.
The king's daughter cries for her husband nightly. The king's daughter cries for her husband nightly.
Le fils du charbonnier.
The charcoal burner's son.
Le roi a envoyé quelqu'un pour me trouver.
The king sent someone to find me. The king sent someone to find me.
Il voulait 3 de mes cheveux d'or.
They wanted 3 of my golden hairs. They wanted 3 of my golden hairs.
Au matin,
In the morning,
il y eut à nouveau le bruit du vent qui se précipite.
there was the sound of rushing wind again. There was the sound of rushing wind again.
Un bel enfant doré se réveilla.
A beautiful golden child woke up. A beautiful golden child woke up.
Il n'était plus un vieil homme.
He was no longer an old man. He was no longer an old man.
Il était allongé sur les genoux de sa mère.
He lay on his mother's lap. He lay on his mother's lap.
C'était le glorieux soleil.
It was the glorious sun. It was the glorious sun.
Il fit ses adieux à sa mère.
He said goodbye to his mother. He said goodbye to his mother.
Il s'envola par une fenêtre orientale.
He flew out through an eastern window. He flew out through an eastern window.
La vieille femme souleva le tonneau.
The old woman lifted the barrel. The old woman lifted the barrel.
Elle dit à Plavacek.
She said to Plavacek. She said to Plavacek.
Voici les 3 cheveux d'or.
Here are the 3 golden hairs. Here are the 3 golden hairs.
Tu as les réponses de grand-père, c'est tout.
You have answers from Grandfather Know-it-all. You have answers from Grandfather Know-it-all.
Ces réponses sont pour tes 3 questions.
These answers are for your 3 questions. These answers are for your 3 questions.
Maintenant, au revoir.
Now goodbye.
Tu n'auras plus besoin de moi.
You won't need me anymore. You won't need me anymore.
Donc tu ne me reverras plus jamais.
So you'll never see me again. So you'll never see me again.
Plavacek remercia sa marraine et partit.
Plavacek thanked his godmother and left. Plavacek thanked his godmother and left.
Quand il arriva dans la première ville.
When he reached the first city. When he reached the first city.
Le roi demanda quelle nouvelle il apportait.
The king asked what news he brought. The king asked what news he brought.
Bonne nouvelle,
Good news.
dit Plavacek.
Plavacek said.
Videz le puits et enlevez la grenouille.
Empty the well and remove the frog. Empty the well and remove the frog.
Tuez la grenouille qui repose sur la source.
Kill the frog resting on the spring. Kill the frog resting on the spring.
Si vous faites cela,
If you do this. If you do this.
l'eau coulera à nouveau.
The water will flow again. The water will flow again.
Le roi fit cela immédiatement.
The king had this done right away. The king had this done right away.
Quand il vit l'eau couler à nouveau,
When he saw the water flowing again. When he saw the water flowing again.
Il donna à Plavacek 12 chevaux blancs.
He gave Plavacek 12 white horses. He gave Plavacek 12 white horses.
Les chevaux étaient chargés d'or et d'argent.
The horses were loaded with gold and silver. The horses were loaded with gold and silver.
Quand Plavacek arriva dans la deuxième ville.
When Plavacek came to the second city. When Plavacek came to the second city.
Le roi demanda quelle nouvelle il apportait.
The king asked what news he brought. The king asked what news he brought.
Bonne nouvelle.
Good news.
Déterrer le pommier.
Dig up the apple tree. Dig up the apple tree.
À ses racines, vous trouverez un serpent.
At its roots you'll find a snake. At its roots you'll find a snake.
Tuez le serpent et replantez l'arbre.
Kill the snake and replant the tree. Kill the snake and replant the tree.
Alors il portera à nouveau des fruits.
Then it will grow fruit again. Then it will grow fruit again.
Le roi fit cela immédiatement.
The king did this at once. The king did this at once.
Pendant la nuit.
During the night.
L'arbre fleurit et produisit beaucoup de fruits.
The tree bloomed and grew lots of fruit. The tree bloomed and grew lots of fruit.
Le roi fut ravi.
The king was delighted. The king was delighted.
Il donna à Plavacek 12 chevaux noirs.
He gave Plavacek 12 black horses. He gave Plavacek 12 black horses.
Les chevaux étaient chargés de richesses.
The horses were loaded with riches. The horses were loaded with riches.
Plavacek poursuivit son voyage.
Plavacek traveled on.
Quand il arriva à la mer Noire.
When he came to the Black Sea. When he came to the Black Sea.
Le passeur demanda s'il avait la réponse.
The boatman asked if he had the answer. The boatman asked if he had the answer.
Oui.
Yes.
Je le fais,
I do.
dit Plavacek.
Said Plavacek.
Vous devez d'abord me faire traverser.
You must take me across first. You must take me across first.
Ensuite,
Then.
je vous le dirai.
I will tell you. I will tell you.
Le batelier voulait entendre tout de suite.
The boatman wanted to hear right away. The boatman wanted to hear right away.
Mais Plavacek ne voulait pas le dire.
But Plavacek wouldn't tell. But Plavacek wouldn't tell.
Le vieil homme le fit traverser.
The old man took him across. The old man took him across.
Il a amené tous ses chevaux avec lui.
He brought all his horses along. He brought all his horses along.
Lorsque Plavacek fut en sécurité de l'autre côté.
When Plavacek was safely on the other side. When Plavacek was safely on the other side.
Il dit.
He said.
La prochaine personne qui viendra pour traverser.
The next person who comes to cross. The next person who comes to cross.
Mettez la rame dans sa main.
Place the oar in his hand. Place the oar in his hand.
Puis.
Then.
Sautez sur la rive.
Jump to the shore. Jump to the shore.
Il devra être le batelier.
He'll have to be the boatman. He'll have to be the boatman.
Ce ne peut plus être vous.
He can't be you anymore. He can't be you anymore.
Plavacek voyagea jusqu'au palais.
Plavacek traveled home to the palace. Plavacek traveled home to the palace.
Le roi pouvait à peine en croire ses yeux.
The king could hardly believe his eyes. The king could hardly believe his eyes.
Il vit 3 cheveux d'or de grand-père c'est tout.
He saw 3 golden hairs from grandfather know-it-all. He saw 3 golden hairs from grandfather know-it-all.
La princesse pleura à nouveau.
The princess cried again. The princess cried again.
Cette fois,
This time,
elle ressentit de la joie.
she felt joy.
Son mari était de retour.
Her husband was back. Her husband was back.
Mais Plavacek,
But Plavacek,
dit le roi,
the king said,
où as-tu trouvé ces magnifiques chevaux?
Where did you get these beautiful horses? Where did you get these beautiful horses?
Et où as-tu trouvé toutes ces richesses?
And where did you find all these riches? And where did you find all these riches?
Je les ai gagnés,
I earned them,
dit fièrement Plavacek.
Plavacek said proudly.
Il raconta comment il avait aidé un roi.
He told how he helped one king. He told how he helped one king.
Ce roi avait un arbre aux pommes de jouvence.
This king had a tree of youth apples. This king had a tree of youth apples.
Un autre roi avait un puits d'eau de vie.
Another king had a well of life water. Another king had a well of life water.
Des pommes de jouvence.
Apples of youth.
De l'eau de vie.
Water of life.
Le roi ne cessait de se dire.
The king kept saying to himself. The king kept saying to himself.
Si je mangeais une de ces pommes.
If I ate one of those apples. If I ate one of those apples.
Je redeviendrais jeune.
I'd become young again. I'd become young again.
Si j'étais mort.
If I were dead. If I were dead.
L'eau me ramènerait à la vie.
The water would bring me back to life. The water would bring me back to life.
Il partit rapidement pour trouver les pommes.
He left quickly to find the apples. He left quickly to find the apples.
Ces pommes détiennent le secret de la jeunesse.
These apples hold the secret of youth. These apples hold the secret of youth.
Puis,
Then,
il chercha l'eau de vie.
he sought the water of life. He sought the water of life.
Et devinez quoi?
And do you know what? And do you know what?
Il n'est pas encore revenu.
He hasn't come back yet. He hasn't come back yet.
Ainsi Plavacek,
So Plavacek,
le fils du charbonnier,
the charcoal burner's son,
devint le gendre du roi.
became the king's son-in-law. Became the king's son-in-law.
Comme l'avait dit le vieux destin.
As the old fate said. As the old fate said.
Il y a longtemps.
Long ago.
Exactement comme le destin l'avait prédit autrefois.
Just as fate had foretold in the past. Just as fate had foretold in the past.
Quant au roi,
As for the king. As for the king.
eh bien,
Well,
il est probablement encore en train de faire traverser les gens.
he's likely still ferrying people across. He's likely still ferrying people across.
La mer est noire et dans un bateau.
The sea is black and in a boat. The sea is black and in a boat.